This is Dr. X.H. Balthazar. I am broadcasting once again to present my findings from the world of the uncanny. A week ago, I received a letter from an avid listener by the name of Henrietta Freed, claiming to have had a personal interaction with the Dark Watchers, a famous California legend. For context, it is said that huge figures cloaked in shadow can be seen staring down from the peak of the Santa Lucia Mountains. This dates back to before colonization, as local indigenous tribes corroborate the tales of the Dark Watchers. Skeptics claim that these Dark Watchers are simply a trick of the light, creating these silhouettes against the sunset. When I read Miss Freed's letter, my curiosity was piqued. She describes a physical interaction with the Dark Watchers, as well as claiming to have ascended to the peak of one of the Santa Lucia Mountains. Given these intriguing details, I decided to venture to Monterey County, California, in hopes of seeing these beings firsthand. I will now play for you the tapes of what unfolded between Miss Freed and myself while searching for the Dark Watchers. This is Dr. Balthazar speaking. It is just before sunset. As instructed, I make my way to meet Miss Freed at the trailhead. According to her letters, this is the ideal time for a sighting. Through my research on the phenomenon, I have found that indigenous tribes too reported sightings of the Dark Watchers at this same time of day. This seems to be the place, though I do not see her here. Miss Freed? Miss Freed, is that you? Henrietta Freed, I assume?
Yes, sir.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. It's just so nice to have a visitor.
I appreciate you being my guide this evening. You live nearby, is that right?
Just about a quarter-mile south. It's the middle of a whole lot of woods.
And your family? Have they experienced these sightings as well?
Oh, no, I live alone. Let's get going, yeah? It's a bit of a hike.
Miss Freed, would you mind describing your sighting of the Dark Watchers to me in more detail?
Of course. It happened 2 weeks ago. I moved home a while back to take care of my mother, and she... Oh my. I'm so glad you came. I'm a real fan of your work. So nice to have company.
Once again, it is my pleasure. Now, you were saying something about your mother?
My mother? Oh, yes. Let's see. She passed just a few weeks ago.
I am sorry to hear that. You must still be grieving a great deal.
Oh, it gets lonely.
Good company keeps the heart alive.
Yes, exactly.
Please continue with your story.
Well, it was the night after the funeral. You know how funerals are. Everyone wore their black, drank their wine, said their piece, and then they left. And there was no one to talk to.
Miss Freed, are you all right?
Oh, I'm absolutely wonderful. Really. It's just me now. It's so quiet. Sometimes I can hear my heartbeat. After the funeral that night, I got up and started walking. I walked the same path. I didn't know where I was going, but that didn't matter much. Yeah, I was walking right up here till I came to this clearing, and I looked down over the edge of the mountain. It's quite a drop.
Miss Freed, you look as though you've seen a ghost.
Well, if I've seen a ghost, then that would be you, silly. You aren't a ghost, right?
Not to my knowledge. If you would, please continue.
Oh, right. I was looking down over the edge, and then I looked up, and I saw this enormous dark figure looming over me.
What did it look like?
Just like the old tales describe. It wore a cloak and had a cane by its side. I used to think they were made up to scare tourists, but I was wrong about that.
Did it speak or move?
Yes. It lowered its hand and opened its palm to me. It was real nice. See, instead of making me walk back down, it carried me to the bottom of the mountain.
What do you mean, carried?
The hand held me down from the cliff. I woke up at the bottom of the mountain the next morning. I'm still pretty scuffed up from it, see?
Let me pause the tape here. Upon first meeting Miss Freed, I noticed several scars on her cheek and lips, though I tried not to think too much of it, and I certainly tried not to stare. However, when she showed me her further injuries, I was painted a clearer picture. The scars were far more gruesome on her arms, chest, and legs, like snakes writhing from beneath her skin. Black and purple bruising lined her limbs. I knew instantly that something horrific had happened. Miss Freed, are you okay? These injuries seem rather severe.
Oh no. The Dark Watcher carried me down, just like I said. Here's the thing. The Dark Watcher told me that next time I have to climb higher on the mountain. The further I walk, the better.
How often have you seen the Dark Watchers since your mother's passing?
Once a week or so.
And each time you venture further up the trail.
Now you look like you've seen a ghost. Am I a ghost, Doctor?
No. Come with me, please. Your injuries may require medical attention.
But they are waiting for me.
That may well be. But the pressing issue now is that you are injured. I fear that this treacherous hike will make matters worse.
I'm sorry, Doctor. It has been lovely to chat with you, but I can't keep them waiting.
Stop! Miss Freed! Miss Freed, please step back toward me.
Where are you? Where? Please take me!
Step away from the edge, Miss Freed.
Doctor, why have they gone away?
Henrietta, if you would, walk with me down the mountain. I could use a guide. I am unfamiliar with the area.
Where are they, Doctor?
I'm not sure. It took nearly an hour to convince the distraught Henrietta Freed to return with me down the mountain. Upon our return, I informed the authorities of Henrietta's injuries, and she was admitted to the nearest hospital. Normally, given the personal nature of my investigation, I would hesitate to broadcast this interview. This recording, however, I play for you at the request of Miss Freed. She wrote in again, wondering when her story would be shared with the world. That is all for this broadcast. Until next time, goodbye and good night.